Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, we ask Allah's choicest blessings upon Muhammad, the seal of the Prophet, upon his family, the righteous all, and upon us. Ameen. We greet you all the degrees of peace. Assalamu alaikum. We're thankful for you all being here on our first Northeast Regional Northeast section webinar. We're honored to have a special guest today, our dear brother and teacher, Imam Salim MuMin. I'm going to do a few brief announcements, and then I'm going to introduce the Imam. He's going to give a presentation for about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll open up for anyone who has any questions. We ask that you, well, I think the mute is enabled. So you, once we open up, once he finishes presentation, they allow you to unmute yourself, inshallah. The announcements I wanted to make was in regards to, where is it at? Here. Because we have one of our leaders and teacher, also educator, we did want to share with those who are listening now and who will listen in the future an opportunity for you to join the Muslim American Logic. It's a free online Quranic Studies Institute. Here's the link here. I'm going to also put in the chat, and we'll also share this on our social media. There's also some publications that are available for you as well. Here's some two new publications. The Quran on the Quran, or the Quran on Quran, Self-Description and Core Concepts. And this is by the students of the Muslim American Logic Institute. And then we have an Invitation to the Way of Allah, Quranic Terms and Conceptual Foundations of Da'wah. This is also by the students of Muslim American Logic. And so, again, we'll share this information. And then here's our Imam Salim MuMin. Here's his book. His latest book is Transcending Thought, Reflection, and Commentary on the Quran. This is the first installment, chapter 65 to 70. So again, this link will be available in the chat as well as on the social sites that we share this information. So now we just want to give a brief intro to Imam Salim MuMin. He is the founder and the director of the Muslim American Logic. He is dedicated to the study and the preservation of Muslim American Quranic logic and teachings of Al-Islam in America. Alhamdulillah, he has served as an imam at M.A.L.I Mohammed and the Muslim Center in Detroit, and he has been involved in building schools in Ghana. He has received the special title Progressive Chief from the Bissau people of Ghana and is actively involved in projects to further the Islamic education and culture in his community. And with no further delay, I would like to introduce our Imam and teacher, Imam Salim MuMin. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you, Imam MujahidDeen. And I want to thank you for the invitation here to speak about the sighting of the new crescent of Ramadan. I'm going to read from notes that I have and about the sighting, and then comments dealing with the ritual of sighting the crescent. And afterwards, as he said, we can open for any questions or comments that we may have. This reading that I'm going over, I have termed it or coined it as a Warithian reading. A Warithian reading is based upon the readings of Imam Warith-Deen Muhammad. So from his name, I have termed this a Warithian reading, a Warithian commentary on this subject. So let me begin with the verse in the Quran Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Where atna Musa, and we appointed Moses Thalathina Laylatan, 30 nights. Wa atmamnaha bi ashrin, and we completed it with 10. That's the completion is with 10. Fatamma mikatu, so the time completed, the time of his Lord completed is arba'ina laylatan, 40 nights. 30 with 10 completing the period for a completion for a total of 40 nights. This is the verse. What I'm presenting is based upon this verse. So this verse, it discusses Moses being appointed for 30 nights. Then adding or completing it with an additional 10 to bring a total to 40. This is viewed not just as a historical detail. So I'm not looking at this verse, historically speaking, restricting it to just Moses, historically. But more or less, I would say, an esoteric representation of the growth and completion of human, moral, and intellectual life. Moral and intellectual life. It can be understood as a symbolic pattern that recurs in human development, particularly in how Allah elevates leaders and communities from ignorance to conscious, responsible living. This idea of 30 and 10. So now, looking at the number 30, it symbolizes the purity achieved in human nature and through revealed guidance, particularly in the figure of Jesus, the Christ, or the Muslim nature. This idea of 30, it symbolizes purity, moral purity first that we have. And not only in the Muslim nature, also in the context of a fully developed human community. It reflects a human will and nature that remains pure from birth into maturity. This original pure nature can persist in adult prophetic responsibilities, especially when that purity is fully realized in a public mission. So every child is born with this pure nature. We all have in us not only this pure nature, but also the prophetic spirit or the prophetic soul is within every individual. However, the complete test and confirmation of that purity occur when an individual reaches a stage of full responsibility and leadership. We know in our religion, every man is to be the imam in his own house. He's to be the leader in his own house. The Christ or Muslim nature is no longer merely potential. It has been proven, disciplined, and manifested through struggle. Purity that has endured testing and become what the community as a whole is destined to achieve: a mature, ethically stable purity. That's uh, that's the 30. The number 10 symbolizes the intellect that embodies full and balanced responsibility. It represents a harmonious integration of the 5 outer senses and the 5 inner spiritual psychic powers, functioning together as a disciplined mind in the service of Allah. The soul is the foundation of the intellect, and true enlightenment occurs when the intellectual drive emerges from the soul rather than merely from the mind. It comes up from the soul. This process reflects the pure nature within us, where 10 signifies an intellect that is fully illuminated from within, rather than being solely informed by external data. We have the mountain of Moses and the mountain of Arafat. Let me digress for one moment, just to say this, and then remember this as we go as we go further. Muhammad the Prophet is traveling with a group, and he noticed the group of Jews, they're fasting, and he asked the followers, what are they doing? And they said to him that they are fasting in commemoration of Moses being freed from the Pharaoh. And the prophet mentioned, we have more rights to Moses than they do. Well, I have more rights to Moses than they do. Which way it goes, whichever way it goes. Now we have the mountain of Moses and the mountain of Arafat. Remember, we're not speaking so much historically, which symbolize the journey of intellect as it ascends from the base of common thinking to the pinnacle of clear binding logic. This journey then returns to apply that logic within the community. This process reflects how laws are internalized and transformed into a just social order. In this framework, 10 represents the complete cycle of human growth, from raw sensation to enlightened intellect and trustworthy leadership, ensuring that every aspect of human experience aligns with Allah's plan. That brings us to the number 40. The 40 signifies a stage of complete ripening, a point at which a person, mission, or community has undergone thorough testing and is now prepared to fulfill its destined responsibilities with clarity and stability. This concept is reflected in various contexts, such as the 40 years spent in the wilderness, or the 40 days of fasting and pilgrimage, the 30 plus the 10. It symbolizes a complete cycle of trial during which weaknesses are not only exposed, but also purified and disciplined rather than simply punished. When revelation occurs at the age of 40, like Prophet Muhammad, President peace be upon him, receiving his revelation, it is bestowed upon a nature that has already been fully tested. A community that has endured its 40 years of slavery, symbolically speaking, or as we use the number 400 years of slavery. nationalism, confusion, and reform can emerge with a more universal and balanced understanding of the Quran and reality. I hope we listen to that carefully. A community that has endured its 40 years of slavery, nationalism, confusion, and reform, 40 years and reform, can emerge with a more universal and balanced understanding of the Quran and reality. Much like an individual who reaches the age of 40 with a well-developed intellect. We extract this concept of 30 plus 10 for a completion of 40 from this verse and express it in ritual form by sighting the first crescent moon and counting 30 nights. We're taking this verse and the logic, the Warithian logic that we get from this verse and put it in the ritual, a ritual form, so that we will remember. By counting 30 nights of the after the crescent is sighted, culminating with the Eid al-Fitr on the 30th day. This practice signifies the purification of our nature. Eid al-Fitr is the recurring of the purified nature, recurring of that original nature. Subsequently, on the 10th day of Hajj, 30 plus 10, on the 10th day of Hajj, after returning from Mount Arafat, we celebrate Eid al-Adha, which symbolizes the completion of our journey, symbolized by 40. Eid al-Adha is the return of the greater light. The intellect comes on, as we're saying in this presentation. 30 plus 10, we have the 40. Now, the month of Ramadan is a calendar month used for telling time. That's the calendar month. Even though we do not use, maybe even have an Islamic calendar where we are using for telling the time. Yes, there are 12 months of the calendar, of the Islamic calendar, but for telling time, we use it for telling time. We use the calendar for telling times. But it is also a ritual month. Ramadan is a calendar month that can be used for telling the time, and it's a ritual month. We use it for the ritual month. Ramadan to us is a ritual month, not a calendar month for telling times. There's a difference. And the days of the two may not always align. In the ritual month, there are 30 nights, and the 30th day is the Eid al-Fitr. That 30th day may occur at the same time the 30th day occurs on the Ramadan calendar month, or it may occur on the first day of Shawwal of the calendar month. But in the ritual, there is no Sha'ban, there is no Shawwal. It's the ritual month of Ramadan. So I stop there, and we can open up for any comments or questions.
Thank you, Brother Imam. Alhamdulillah. So I'm going to allow each of you all opportunity to unmute your mic. If you have any questions or comments, the floor is open. You should be able to unmute your mic, inshallah. Just give us the greetings and let us know who's speaking. One question I had, Brother Man, when you mentioned
Yes,
the last thing you mentioned, that there's no Sha'ban or Shawwal for the ritual, it's just the Ramadan month. And so
yes.
just to reiterate, you're saying that though it may come, that last day may come in Sha'ban, it's still the completion of Ramadan.
Not Shaban.
I mean Shawwal, excuse me.
Yes, it's in the ritual, it's the 30th day of Ramadan. On the calendar, it may be the first of Shawwal.
And so inciting so if the moon in the completion of the Ramadan ritual, are we looking for the moon, or we just completing the month?
On the end, we're just completing the month.
Yes, sir. Okay.
The moon, when you hear people saying the month is 29 or 30, they're talking about the calendar month. The calendar month is 29 or 30. The ritual month is 30. So if you have 29 days on a calendar month, and then you have the first of Shawwal, after that calendar month, you may have 30 days. It's the 30th day. The first day of Shawwal is the 30th day of Ramadan. So the Eid is not the first day of Shawwal necessarily. It's the 30th day of Ramadan. Ritually speaking, it's a ritual. They ask about the crescent. He says or tell them it's used for telling the time and the Hajj. The Hajj is a ritual. So we use it for the ritual.
Yes, sir. I see
And what this does is allow us practically, it allows us to know ahead of time when the day of the Eid is. In my research, I have not found any group in the world who sights the crescent and have the Eid the next morning and wait until the crescent is sighted and have the Eid the next morning. Everybody knows, they know, and they have a system where they know ahead of time. But they only use religious language. But that's not what they're actually doing. What they're saying is not what they're actually doing. They know ahead of time, and they inform their constituencies. They inform their republics ahead of time when they're having the Eid. They all know ahead of time. It's not practical for them to wait the last minute to determine if there's an Eid or not. They don't even have the communication to make sure the people would know. And the logistics, the whole thing, they're not like that. In our imagination, that's what we think, because we read it in books. We read something someone wrote. That's what we think that people are doing. No, they know ahead of time.
Yes, sir. I have another one, but I'll let someone else come in. Brother Abdurrahim, you unmute your mic. Did you have a question or comment? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum assalam.
I mean, questions or comments. Okay, from what you're saying, I was trying to understand you, and you were making the difference between the Islamic calendar and the Ramadan month being the 9th month. And then the idea of the ritual calendar. And in principle, we just see it in light of a principal calendar because we don't actually live by the Islamic calendar. But the question about the sighting of the moon that ends the month of Ramadan, I really didn't quite understand you because it seemed like you're saying it's automatically predicted for 30 days and it's not so important about reciting another moon sighting again for the next month to come forward. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, they don't do like that in Philadelphia.
Yes, and I just said that people, they talk like they do it, but they don't. That's not what they do. In Philadelphia, there's no way you could wait. It's not practical for you to wait for a crescent to be sighted, then inform everyone the Eid is the next morning. You could say it, but that's not what you do.
Well, I never allowed that to be an issue with me. I just say they confused.
No, they're not confused. They're following other people.
Yeah,
They just follow other people.
following other people.
Yeah. But what we're talking about is purification of that original nature. This is what we're talking about, right? Purifying that original nature and coming into full responsibility and leadership. That's what we're talking about. Being responsible for ourselves. Coming out of slavery. It's all in the presentation. Coming out of slavery, right? After 400 years, if you want to put it, or symbolically the 40. Coming out of slavery, right?
Yeah,
Nationalism,
you're
confusion,
right.
and reform. The reformer has come to us. Can emerge with a more universal, balanced understanding of the Quran and reality. I'm talking reality. In reality, you are not sighting the crescent and having to eat the next morning. You're waiting to see what somebody else says according to their method of having the Eid, which is not sighting the crescent. But we use that language of sighting the crescent. And we always hear how somebody else saw it. Did you see it in Philadelphia? Or there's always somebody else saw it?
See, I wasn't never on no Eid committee to be no moon sighting committee. I never was participating in that activity.
I understand. But now you can. Is there a committee for prayer times? Do you consult with a committee every time it's time to pray? No.
No, we ain't gotta do that. I mean, I don't want this to be no personal conversation.
No. It's not. No, it's not personal. No, it's not personal.
Dean put me in it.
Yes. It's not personal. It's just that you're asking the question that everyone else wants to ask. And I'm just responding to you, just being real with you, is that, you know, for a long time, we always said Saudi Arabia saw it, South America saw it, Toronto. We never really looked ourselves. We never go outside, look in the sky, and there it is. To do that and then have to eat the next day, it's impractical. We do it, we have a Ramadan crescent. We don't have a Shawwal crescent, we have a Ramadan crescent. We cite the Ramadan crescent, count 30 nights, and we have the Eid the next day, based upon the Warithian logic. Now we're not practicing what I would call religious deception. We're being responsible now. We're responsible for ourselves. 30 plus 10. We're coming to a mature human being ready to be responsible for ourselves. But we don't need committees. On the 18th, we call in on the 18th. We go, you look in the sky, and all across America, everyone this year will look in the sky and see the crescent on the 18th. That's night number 1. You don't need a committee. Go look. Call in and go look. And you hear people on cell phones. Why you need a committee? We got cell phones, right? So all you have to do is be on the cell phone and say, there it is, I see it. You don't need a committee. You don't need to be appointed to it. I'm not the head of any committee. I haven't been appointed to anything. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I had a talk with Imam IWDM Mohammed. This has been my interest for years. And we were discussing what me and you are discussing, the problem of sighting the crescent and having to eat the next day. He told me he's going to make an announcement. He wants me to hear the announcement. And when you hear the announcement, I want you to teach and just keep teaching. And don't give anybody a problem. So I'm not here to give anybody a problem. I have been teaching and I just keep teaching. I heard the announcement. The announcement came from him. Sight the crescent. That's the first night. Count 30 nights. The next day is the Eid. That came from the Imam. But we should be mature enough to see the logic in it. But that came from him. So I researched the Quran and all, because that's where the logic is going to come from. So I just keep teaching. But since then, since I started teaching and showing people, no one calls Saudi Arabia anymore. So many people just go outside and look and they see it. Count 30 nights, the next day is the Eid. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we should do it. We are our own people. But I'm just saying, as someone else. Just when Ramadan starts, ask somebody, when is the Eid? They'll tell you. So how do you know? Well, that's just when the Eid is. They have a way of determining for themselves ahead of time. We have more rights to Moses than they do. Okay. MujahidDeen.
Yes, alhamdulillah. So I just put in the chat the link for anyone who wants to join us on the 18th. You can copy and paste that. So this is the Q&A part of the session. I did allow everyone to unmute their mics. I also saw Nuruddin open his mic and Brother Alfonso. If you all still have a question, you're welcome to ask your question or comments at this time. And anyone else as well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just wanted to say this.
Right.
I'm from Philadelphia, and I don't think the brother could speak for everybody from Philadelphia about what we do, because it's as the Imam was just saying, being from Philadelphia, I sight the crescent and count 30 nights. So it's not, he can't speak for all Philadelphians as he is saying. So I just wanted to make that point clear. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. Anyone else? Any questions or comments in relation to what was presented, or any other questions in regards to Ramadan, the moon sighting? So the question I was going to ask, Brother Imam, I see some people and yourself also share the radar. You guys use like an online platform. Can you speak about that in regards of where it's a possibility to sight the Ramadan beginning moon?
Yes. Okay, let me just ask this question. It's not what the individual does. What does the people in Philadelphia do? If you are part of the community, what do they do? What do they do that all the common people know what they do, and they could do it, anyone could do it too? What do they do? What's the method? Not just Philadelphia, any city. Any city in America, what do they do?
Yeah,
You understand what I'm asking?
yeah, yes. For the most
What
part,
do they
people,
do?
yeah, for the most part, people are either going out, like there are committees that do go out to the highest point in the city or outside the city, and they seek the moon for the Ramadan. And then, like you said, other people may look to other groups of people or other countries to
I'm
see.
saying, what do they do? What do they do in New Jersey? What do they do in Newark? What do they do? Not theoretically what they do. What do they do? What's the method of what they actually do? You're saying they go out in a high point first, which is when you say that to a high point, they never, those people haven't sighted a crescent, because you don't have to. You can go to your backyard and see a crescent. The moon is up in the sky. It's not on the horizon. Most of the time, it's not on the horizon. Only the earliest sighting is on the horizon. But if you go this year, you don't have to go and climb on no mountain and go and do all of that stuff. You just go in your backyard and look in the sky. That's what I'm saying. That's how simple it is. But what do they actually do? Do everybody wait until someone says it's going to be a crescent the next day or not? Or do you already know ahead of time and you talk like we're going to wait, but you already know what you're going to do? Because how can all the people in New Jersey, how did you get the information to everyone in New Jersey, all those people showing up for the Eid who don't come to the masjid, don't communicate you got some type of grapevine line that you can do it overnight and all those people show up and be prepared? The confusion, there's no confusion. You fear saying what you really do because you fear the religious people who's going to say that's not Islamic. So you can't come out and say what you really do because you're going to fear of being judged. Not just you. This is throughout our community and other communities. We thinking that's what they do. They don't do that. When they have their Eid, they already know ahead of time. We think they do that. That's not what they do. Not for the Eid. I've done my homework. We have to be responsible now. Yes, how do we know when to look? Yes, you can go to moonsighting.com And you can look and see when you can actually see it. When you can actually see it. It will take another presentation to show how to use it. And you can tell when you can we can know ahead of time when you can see it. But we practice rituals. We practice rituals because there's something in the ritual. Like all of what I'm saying today is in the ritual. The 30 plus the 10, the 40, sighting the crescent, it's all part of the ritual. But we have science to help us now. And we're just going out verifying. You'll see it. I can say right now, you'll see it. On the 18th, if it's not cloudy, you'll see it. But we're doing it as a ritual. Now, sometime it's going to come when you might see it, you may not see it in the beginning. You may see it, you may not see it. But we'll be experienced enough to know if we see it or not. And once we really understand, once we really, really understand and see the simplicity of it, then in the United States, some people will begin Ramadan one day and others will begin Ramadan another day. It's not a calendar month, it's a ritual month. So the first day of Ramadan in terms of the ritual will be different from a person who lives in Philadelphia or New Jersey than one who lives in, let's say, Texas or California. They will start a different day. You didn't see the crescent, but the people on the West Coast, they saw the crescent. They begin when they see the crescent. Once we're comfortable with it, the same way we are comfortable with the prayer. We're comfortable with it. We start the prayer. We have Fajr. When the sun is rising and we see the light, we have Fajr. The people in the West Coast, they wait until they see the light and they have Fajr. There's no problem with that. And all the other times, we're comfortable with that. At one time, we were not comfortable with it, but we're comfortable with that now. It's going to be the same with this. Once we understand and see what we're doing, and we have a method, we have a Warithian school of thought, and this is how we do it. But the man in Africa don't do it the same way. The man in Ghana, he doesn't do it the same way. He has his way of notifying all the people in Ghana when the Eid is going to be. Ahead of time. And they don't have confusion because not just you. This is throughout our community and other communities. We thinking that's what they do. They don't do that. When they have their Eid, they already know ahead of time. We think they do that. That's not what they do. Not for the Eid. I've done my homework. We have to be responsible now. Yes, how do we know that when to look? Yes, you can go to moonsighting.com and you can look and see when you can actually see it. When you can actually see it. It will take another presentation to show how to use it. And you can tell when you can, we can know ahead of time when you can see it. But we practice rituals. We practice rituals because there's something in the ritual. Like all of what I'm saying today is in the ritual. The 30 plus the 10, the 40, sighting the crescent, it's all part of the ritual. But we have science to help us now. And we're just going out verifying. You'll see it. I can say right now, you'll see it. On the 18th, if it's not cloudy, you'll see it. But we're doing it as a ritual. Now, sometime it's going to come when you might see it, you may not see it in the beginning. You may see it, you may not see it. But we'll be experienced enough to know if we see it or not. And once we really understand, once we really, really understand and see the simplicity of it, then in the United States, some people will begin Ramadan one day and others will begin Ramadan another day. It's not a calendar month, it's a ritual month. So the first day of Ramadan in terms of the ritual will be different from a person who lives in Philadelphia or New Jersey than one who lives in, let's say, Texas or California. They will start a different day. You didn't see the crescent, but the people on the West Coast, they saw the crescent. They begin when they see the crescent. Once we're comfortable with it, the same way we are comfortable with the prayer. We're comfortable with it. We start the prayer. We have Fajr. When the sun is rising and we see the light, we have Fajr. The people in the West Coast, they wait until they see the light and they have Fajr. There's no problem with that. And all the other times, we're comfortable with that. At one time, we were not comfortable with it. But we're comfortable with that now. It's going to be the same with this. Once we understand and see what we're doing, and we have a method. We have a Warithian school of thought. And this is how we do it. But the man in Africa don't do it the same way. The man in Ghana, he doesn't do it the same way. He has his way of notifying all the people in Ghana when the Eid is going to be. Ahead of time. And they don't have confusion because they already know ahead of time and he announces it and that's it. And everyone knows when the Eid is going to be. We have confusion because like the brother said, this is what I do in Philadelphia. Well, this is what I do. That's the confusion. Everybody doing their own. They say that's what they do, but they still all end up at the Eid the same day. So there's a way we can tell with moonsighting.com. If you say, well, we only want to sight the moon and have it when the moon is sighted, then you can still know that ahead of time now. If you're interested, you take a look and say, when it's this way, we know we'll start here and we're going to have the Eid here. There's a way that can be done. But this idea of waiting till the moon is sighted, that type of language, well, there's a possibility, a probability based upon scientific data. There's a possibility because you're afraid to say the Eid is this day and that's it. So there's these possibilities because of the religious people. Religious people might say you're not supposed to use calculation. Usually come from people that can't read. The prophet didn't say you're not to calculate. He didn't say that to them. They can't count anyway. Why would he say you're not to calculate? They don't know how to count anyway. They can't read and they can't count. And a lot of those hadiths are tampered with anyway. He never said Shaban. He never said count 30 of Shaban. He never said that. If you go read, they pencil that in themselves. They penciled in Shawwal. He didn't say those things. Okay. Any other? Mujahideen, I'm turning it over to you.
Yes, sir.
Moonsighting.com.
Yes, I put that in the chat as well. I put the link for the 18th. What time is the session on the 18th?
It starts at 5:45.
5:45 Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, we'll be able to continue to join Imam Salim MuMin in regards to the moon sighting and the method that he just expressed today. I'm also going to put the chat to the YouTube for those who may have missed the first part of the presentation. So that link is also in the chat. We're still open for questions. We have another about 10 minutes. So if anybody else have any questions or comments, oh, you can't unmute. Let me unmute you all again. Sorry about that. Try it again, Brother Nuruddin.
Assalamu alaikum. Imam Salim.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Can you explain the difference between the Ramadan ritual and the Ramadan calendar? What is the difference between the two?
Yes. Okay. The calendar. The reason I'm saying a calendar, the calendar you use for telling times, right? Like we use the calendar. Today is the 7th, February the 7th. Tomorrow is going to be the 8th. We know when the 1st of March is going to be. We all agree to this calendar. And we use this calendar for telling times. And we use it for commercial usage. In terms of things that we have to do, we all are tied to this calendar for telling the times we all agree upon. That's the idea of a calendar, right? A commercial calendar for telling the time. Now, a Ramadan calendar, I mean, not a Ramadan, an Islamic calendar is the same. It would be the same way if we use it for telling the times and commercial usage. You would have to know ahead of time for each month. You can't wait to sight the moon to start the month. If so, the calendar would be of no use. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yes.
can't say, okay, the month of Shawwal, the 1st of Shawwal, we don't know till we sight the crescent. Then you can't have a calendar, because in order to have a calendar for, let's say, the year 2026, we already got the months ahead of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a year, a 12-month Islamic calendar, you have to already have the months ahead of time. You can't wait till the next day to say, oh, this is the 1st. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if we have a calendar, I'm speaking from the position of being responsible. For us being responsible for ourselves. I'm speaking as a responsible person now, not a person following other people or imagining that I'm following someone else. I'm not speaking from that position. I'm speaking from the position of being rational, having a rational mind and being responsible for myself, being mature, a mature adult who has witnessed the reformer who has come to us, and what, 50 years we just celebrated? 50 years?
Mhm.
Showing maturity for myself. Okay, so we don't have that. We don't have a calendar. You can find an Islamic calendar. If you do, they decided ahead of time. That's what I'm trying to get. You don't cite the crescent every month and say, now the month starts. We only do that for the ritual. For the ritual months, we do it. We use the calendar for the ritual months. You understand what I'm saying? And the
Yes.
ritual holds in it a body of knowledge. The ritual is not the reality, it's the ritual. We don't always agree with the real reality of things. The ritual doesn't. So that's the first thing. Now, if we have this calendar month, if we have this calendar, Ramadan occurs at a certain time on this calendar, if we count the months. But we're not really counting the months. We hear people say, well, the moon wasn't sighted, so it's 30 days of Shaban. Who sighted it? Who sighted it at the beginning of Shaban? Was it cloudy? Was it not cloudy? Was it seen? Was it not seen? See, we're going backwards with it. Well, it must be 30 because we didn't see it. You hear people saying that now. Well, we didn't see it. They're going to look at 17. They're going to say, we didn't see it, so they give us 30 days of Shaban every year. They're just guessing. They're talking and guessing. They're not being responsible. So we know the time of Ramadan. So we cite the crescent, and the ritual is we count the 30 nights, and the next day is the Eid. It may not coincide if you cite the crescent at the beginning and you cite the crescent at the end and say that's the month of Ramadan. It may not coincide because it's a ritual. That's what makes it a ritual. But we want to make it a calendar month as well. But yes, in the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s, we didn't have the math for that. We didn't have the interest for it. We just follow what other people say. So one of us now had the interest to go and look, go and research, do the whole thing, present it to the Imam. The Imam comes and say, okay, now I'm going to make the announcement. I want you to hear it. When you hear it, I want you to teach and keep teaching. Don't give anybody a problem. And soon, once we start doing this, if we make it known this is what we're doing, I believe the other people who's practicing religious deception and they say they are will follow us.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's what the Imam told me. The Arab Imam, he told me, he said, Salim, I'm doing the research, the real research, not guessing, of what people actually do. And I asked him, what do you all do? He says, well, I call Saudi Arabia. And I said, okay, what's the next obvious question for someone who researches? What's the number? I asked, okay, what's the number? So I can call too. He said, Salim, there is no number. There was never a number. Who knows the number to Saudi Arabia? There is no number. He says, we just do that for you religious people. As soon as we mention Saudi Arabia, you'll leave us alone. I said, well, what do you actually do? He says, I look on the calendar. All the people in Dearborn, Michigan do not attend the masjid. They don't have a communication system to do things overnight. He says, if I follow you and cite the crescent, which I was thinking, you cite the crescent and then have the Eid. He says, Salim, if I follow you, a lot of people are going to miss the Eid because they won't know. And then I lose my job. So I'm not following you. I lose my job. I'm calling Saudi Arabia. But actually what they do, they look on the calendar. When the calendar say new moon, the next day is the beginning of Ramadan. If the calendar say new moon, the next day is the Eid. That's what they actually do. So to make sure, I go to one of the shops. There's a woman in the bakery. She always like to see me. I buy this little meat pie from her. And I say, when is Ramadan? She says, look on the calendar. You see new moon? Just a straight face. They're not doing what I'm doing. That's how they know. That's what they do. And that's what everybody does. Everybody in Dearborn, that's what they know they do. That's what they do. They don't have these conversations. That's what they do. In Ghana, I'm not sure their method, but one year they came and the chief imam makes the decision. The chief imam, he announces it. He announced ahead of time when the Eid will be. Someone comes to him and they said, so-and-so saw the crescent, and somewhere in Ghana, the chief imam said, that's good. We're still having an Eid when we said it.
Mm.
Now, if they want to break their fast, fine. Anybody want to break their fast, fine. But we having an Eid when I said it the first time. He didn't change. Because all the people in Ghana already know when the Eid is going to be. He's not going to change it at the last minute because it's too impractical. I do my homework. In our community, we listen to hear what other people are going to do. Then we pretend that we did it. And they know we're like this. So then they have these councils, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. PhD, this, PhD, that. And in their communities, in their community, we still record it, right? In their community, they don't communicate with the astronomer during Ramadan. For a long time, maybe they do now. But when I talk to him, the brother from moonsighting.com, him and other astronomers, who that's their thing, moon sighting is their thing when I was researching. They don't talk to him. Maybe it's changed since then. But we imagine, because we have the inferiority complex. We imagine what other people do. I called Saudi Arabia too. I called the embassy. I called them. And they say, what? You want to know what? We don't know what you're talking about.
Mm.
They put me to the religious division. They say, you want to know what? Oh, we don't know. We don't know what you're talking about. Because that's not what they do. They look on the calendar too. They haven't switched over to science. They haven't caught up with science. But the imam told me now I'm giving them a problem. So don't go out giving anybody a problem. He told me don't give anybody a problem. All you do is just teach. When you hear it, I want you to teach it. But I'm getting old, so I have to tell you all this now because I'm getting old. And if I pass away, you're gonna say Salim made it all up. So I'm not making it. When I'm saying about the 30 nights, I didn't make it up. And there are other people heard it too. They heard it too. They know I'm not making it up. But now I understand it. Not only do I hear it, I understand it. Because I continue to research, study and research. And now I understand. I understand we got more rights to Moses than they do. So I don't make a big deal out of fasting the first of Muharram. All those emails making a big deal out of it. I just tell them, hey, we got more rights to Moses than they do. Muharram is not in the Quran, is it?
No.
No. I'm coming from the Quran. As a student of the great reformer, IWDM Mohammed. And I haven't violated, have I violated the hadith?
Nope.
No. If you count the last 10 nights, you got to know how many you're counting in the beginning, don't you?
Yes.
If you say we're counting the last 10 nights, the question is how many are you counting? To know you're on the last 10. You're counting 30 nights. So the 27th night, if that's the night of power, you got 28, 29, 30, that's the last 10. If you count 31 nights, that's the last 11. The Eid day is a Ramadan day. It's not a Shawwal day. It's a Ramadan day. The 10th day is the Hajj day. It's the Eid day. You don't have 10 and then the next day, it's the 10th day. You count 10 nights, the 10th day is the Eid. You count 30 nights, the 30th day is the Eid. So you have to know how many are you counting before you start. If you say the last 10 of 25, then you're talking about what, the 15th or so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many are you counting? So I'm following. Am I not following the Sunnah, as you call it? I'm not following other people in their perceptions or our perceive their perceptions. I'm not following that. No. What happens if it's cloudy? Count 30. Not 30 Shaban. Count 30 of Ramadan. It's a ritual. But now we have a communication. If it's cloudy, someone else will see it.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
We're at the hour, but if there's any more questions before we close out, I do see Alfonso unmuted. Did you have a question or comment?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, the comment I just wanted to make is that this method is for citing the person is very easy. I like it, and because I can go out in my backyard. I don't have to go up to the city, go up on a high hill and look. I can walk right in my backyard, look with my own physical eyes, and
Sure.
see the person. Yes. It's a blessing.
It's that simple.
Yes. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Imam Derek, you also on? You unmuted? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah. I'm just getting home, man. When I just leave it, I just left you. I'm just getting home. So I caught the last 35. I caught 35 minutes. I missed it. So I'm going to look for you to post. Imam Salim. If I could reach out to you or MujahidDeen who can explain this in real detail, I like to know the science of it. I think we should take it to another level. It's very interesting what you did. What I just heard you say, and I like to know the details. So I can know it. Like I know my own self. And that's good, yes. So we can stop the arguments and the division, amongst this community, and other communities. I think that this little stuff that we do, it divides, And I heard a brother from Philly saying, "You can't tell me what to do." Well, we're doing Philly. I didn't get that part, but we get tired of this stuff. So I like to talk and hear the real science of what you're saying from the beginning. I don't want to read it. I like to actually hear you explain it to you. If you got time, I'll pay you for your time to get that knowledge from you. But alhamdulillah, I'm looking. So we're gonna do this again on the 18th, you saying?
On the 18th, he has information. Or you can get MujahidDeen can give you my phone number.
Okay, inshallah, I'll be happy to do that,
if you're interested.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, MujahidDeen do that. I'll call you like this week and we can talk, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
And then we go step by step so I get a clear understanding, of what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing, And we teach the whole community, like you say, you're not gonna be around forever. We need to take this thing to another level. So alhamdulillah, that's what I'm about.
Okay, so anyone else? Again, I did put the link for the 18th in the chat. I'll repost it because I know sometimes when people come in late, they can't see it. I'll also repost the link for the YouTube. We have a hand. Brother Ahmed, assalamu alaikum. Are you able to unmute?
Alaikum. So I was just going to say that, you know, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, and peace and blessings be upon him, that as Islam started to grow, think about if it was practical for everybody to use one reference to start and conclude Islam like we try to do. And it wasn't then, because you couldn't pass a message miles and miles to other communities of Muslims or groups of Muslims at that time. Think about, if you think back to then, how that wouldn't work then, and that's still not the way today. You cite the crescent wherever you're located at, and that's the first day, or the first night rather, of Ramadan.
Yes, sir. And I guess, Imam, can you just speak to that quickly in regards to when we're saying the first day, we're talking about the night, because the day starts at night, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The night, it starts. It starts that night. But I can't say I can't go. We have what the prophet is saying. We have that. But like I'm saying, it's tampered with, but we have that. Their method, what they did and how they did it, I don't have that. I don't have that to know what they actually did. So we have to imagine what they actually did, right? Maybe they became responsible for themselves. The groups and the people became responsible for themselves. The prophet taught them and they became responsible, right? That's how we get these schools of thoughts. Then someone goes to another area, another place in time, they'll say, that's not practical. That's not practical for us to do exactly what the prophet did. That's not practical. So I don't know. A lot of things, when I begin to reflect on what people say the prophet did this and they're copying him, something is just not practical. He dressed, I would imagine, and it just came to me. I went to Ghana and I put on some clothes in Ghana. I put on their clothes. They gave me their clothes. Went out, made outfits for me, looked beautiful. But I was sweating, man. I was sweating in those clothes more than I was in my own American clothes. So I said to them, you know, maybe these are not your clothes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Your clothes supposed to make me feel cool. Because it's hot. In Ghana, you don't ask what's the weather. The weather is hot or hotter. Not like in Michigan. Oh man, it was 70 today. It was 30 yesterday. They don't talk like that. It's just hot. It's hot, Celine. You get some rain, it's cool. Still hot to me, but it's cool. I'm just saying. So what really hit me is that the prophet and them, they must have dressed to keep cool because it's hot. They found a way to keep cool, right? In Michigan, we have seasons. We have these extreme seasons. It's cold. It's cold now. It's cold. COLDDD, cold. So I can't dress like he exactly dressed, right? He didn't have to dress for this weather. So what we have to do is, what's the character? What's the principle? Now I have to apply that principle of dress. Not trying to dress exactly like him. So we have to think for ourselves. And it's time for us to start being responsible and educate our public. There's no secret order. In religion, that's what we do. We create these secret bodies, this leadership we create to take control of the people. And we sell the people magic and miracles and things in religion. That's how we'll control them. We'll use it that's how we'll stay controlled as leaders. But in reality, they're really not interested. They're not interested in being real Islamic leaders and being responsible. We keep having excuses. Of being responsible for ourselves. We're not slaves anymore. Where somebody is responsible for us. We got rid of the names and everything. So it's time for us to stand up and be responsible for ourselves. We have to educate ourselves in this religion. We had to reform. Everybody does not get a reformer. Everybody doesn't get a person like the Imam that comes to them and help them. Don't let history say those people didn't follow him. Just like the people didn't follow Shuaib. The people didn't follow Muhammad. They gave him problems. They didn't follow Jesus. They hung him. They didn't follow Moses. They gave Moses a hard time. They gave W.D. Muhammad a hard time too. When we look at history, they didn't follow him. A good man, teach, but they didn't follow him. Don't let history tell our story like that. When they go and find what he left and what he was teaching, and they take it and use it and look at us and say, look at them. They didn't follow him. We have a responsibility. Worse than the people of Harriet Tubman's time. She said, I freed so many people, but if the others knew they were slaves, I'd have freed them too. Don't let the people say they're worse than Harriet Tubman. He came to give them their own mind, their own thinking. If they knew, they didn't have their own mind. So he only freed a couple of them. The rest of them didn't accept it. They accepted what other people brought to them that was colonized. And the colonizers influenced them in not reading the Quran and thinking. And we're following them. But we the one got the W.D. Muhammad, not them. So I got it from the Imam. He told me to teach it, so I'm teaching it. And I have to teach it because I have to indicate I can be trusted with the message no matter what anybody else is saying. I am still trusted with the message and to teach it. I can be trusted. Others can't be trusted because they may succumb to social pressures that they imagine will come on them. No pressures have come on me. Nobody gives me a hard time. I don't give anybody a hard time. I've not got a phone call from anybody. Only phone call I got for about 5 years. One immigrant brother would call and say, Imam Salim, when does Ramadan start? And I don't want to hear no philosophy. Just tell me the day. He doesn't want to think about it. Just tell me the day. I know you doing this. Tell me the day. I tell him the day. He say, okay, good. So I could be. I'm fulfilling my trust. And when he said, when you hear it, I want you to teach it. There's more could be said. He says, I don't even have to come back and look to see if you did it. Because I know you're going to do whatever I ask you to do. I know you're going to do it. I don't even have to come back and check to see if you did it or not. I know you're going to do it. Allah is my witness. What I'm teaching today, I've been teaching this for the last, how many years? Since 2008. Every year since 2008. I've been teaching this every year since 2008. But I don't give anybody a problem about it. And I'm not going to come and check to see what you did in Philly or New Jersey. I'm not checking. Unless I'm doing more research, but a lot of the research is done. But I'm getting old, so I have to say these things, right? MujahidDeen.
You're getting older.
I'm getting old.
Alhamdulillah. So we thank our Imam for coming, our teacher, for sharing these insights and presentation on the Ramadan moon sighting. Again, we put the link in the chat for anyone who came on a little late. You can check it out that way. We also put the link for the 18th at 5, you said 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be
about 5:45, about 5:30, 5:45, yes.
Yeah, and we'll send out an email. For those of you who would like to join the Northeast section email, I did put that link in as well. The bit.ly link is the link for you if you're not signed up to our email. That's how we were communicating. We also have a Facebook page where we also will be communicating from there. And so this is our first of a series of community webinars that we're going to present. And we're thankful for our Imam for coming on and presenting at this time. Any last comments, Imam, before you leave? I'll have Imam Derek, inshallah, close us out.
No, I have no further comments other than I thank you for having me on to express what I'm doing and to teach what I'm doing and maybe reach a broader audience in what I'm doing. I appreciate it and I thank you.
Yes, sir. Our pleasure. Imam Derek, if you will, give us the honor in closing us out, inshallah. Oh, you gotta be unmute. Try it now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Imam Salim, thank you so much. I hate that I missed the beginning, but inshallah we'll talk. Okay, soon, inshallah. So we'll close with a Rabbana la tazuk qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmatan innaka anta wahhab. O our Lord, let not our hearts deviate after thou hast guided us, but grant us mercy from thy own presence, for surely you are the grant of mercy without measure.
Ameen. Again, inshallah, we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great Ramadan. We'll see you on the 18th for those who join us. Also, last thing, Imam Salim MuMin, also on that link that I sent, he's going to be doing daily Ramadan sessions every morning at 8 a.m., if I'm correct. 8 a.m. every day, starting on the 18th, correct?
Starting on the 19th.
19th, excuse me.
We'll start the crescent the 18th. We'll start the 19th.
Okay. So again, that same link that I have, again, you'll be on the email. We'll send out that communication. But every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, he'll be giving us a Ramadan session on that link for the free conference call. So again, thank you all for joining us. Until next time, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Now, in concluding this, when the slave traders and the black traders of Africa, traitors, different, traitors, when the slave traders and the traitors of Africa called themselves Muslims, for fighting each other and carrying on and weakening their people over there so that the white traders come in there and get us, take us on slave ships and bring us here. Now, All right? Yes. So now, when all that happened, what you think was happening to our human soul? Let me tell you, God has given me an eye to see into the very abstract form of the human being by my study of the Quran. Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you what was happening. I know, as if I was there. The soul of those victims had given up on this world. They knew they were going to their death. They knew they were going to circumstances that were going to finish them off. They would never have their lives again. They knew that. But in their soul, they were saying, our children will one day be free again, and they will serve God. We have failed, but our children will one day serve God. And now their prayer that they prayed in the deep recesses of their soul has come true. And not only are the descendants of the black people of Africa from Islam coming to Islam, taking up the divine cause, but those who never were Muslims, their children from Christianity, their children from Judaism, their children from paganism are embracing Islam in America. And we are going to build New Africa. New Africa, right here in the United States. Allahu Akbar. And the soul of those suffering victims, they're rejoicing because of us here today.